Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
To catch it.
Venus having a party.
Yeah.
Yes, so today begin at once. Pay attention to the sound of the mantra and dwell on its meaning. This sounds to me like another distraction. It does not have to be like that. When you infuse your mind with the meaning, it adopts that mood and becomes one with the meaning. Think of it like the honey pervades the milk, and we speak of the milk and honey. So the simple meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra is, O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. While chanting, try to enter the spirit of this is too long for you, then make it a plea.
Become aware of the meaning of the mantra. Center yourself by sitting tall with each inhale and exhale. Do so until your mind becomes Now I wish to return to in your form of the holy name. Krishna, please engage me in your service. It is important for your mind for Krishna's pleasure. You need to softly arise.
If you feel like drowsy, something is there, how to avoid that?
So, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Prabhupada told Shruti Prabhu that if he feels tired, he up and down. So sometimes Prabhupada would chant like that while walking if he was tired. So I guess we can do the same.
Even if you're walking, feel like falling down, is there something?
then you should go to sleep. I think it's time to take rest.
Different, yeah.
Yeah, you see devotees, like, I mean, even us, Karneshwar and I were talking about falling asleep while walking. It's pretty dangerous, so I don't know, maybe also like being in a well aerated room. I don't know if you say it like that, like a lot of air and oxygen. I find that when I'm in a closed room, I tend to be more sleepy.
Okay.
But I think really exhausted, there's no miracle solution.
Yeah, Sachin Swami said if you're really tired, just to take some rest, and then when you wake up, you have the energy and the strength to chant good rounds. Even if you're tired, you try to chant good rounds. It's not, you won't be able to chant good rounds. So it's like take rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Start.
Okay. Haribol.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
I would like just to say Hare Krishna to everybody.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Would you like to start, Manaprabhu?
I'll be actually I'm just leaving the gallery now, so I'm going to be driving. So I'll be listening very attentively, but I won't be able to read and drive. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Govinda Prabhu and Supriya Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada's new home, the Bowery, had a long history. In the early 1600s, when Manhattan was known as a New Amsterdam and was controlled by the Dutch West India Company, Peter Minuit, the governor of New Netherlands, staked out a north-south road that was called the Bowery. Because the number of Boweries or farms lay on either side. It was a dusty country road lined with the quaint Dutch cottages and bordered by the peach orchards growing in the estate of Peter Stuyvesant. It becomes part of the high road to Boston and was of strategic importance during the American Revolution as the only land entrance to the New York City. In the early 1800s, the Bowery was predominated by German immigrants. Later in the century, it becomes predominantly Jewish, and gradually it becomes a city center of theatrical life. However, as a history of Lower Manhattan describes, after 1870 came the period of the Bowery's celebrated degeneration. Fake auction rooms, saloons specializing in 5% whiskey and knockout drops, 5-cent whiskey and knockout drops, sensational dime museum, filthy and rat-ridden stale beer dives, together with Charles M. Hoyt's song, "I will never go there anymore," fixed it forever in the nation's consciousness as a place of unspeakable corruption. The reaction of Prabhupada's electrician friend was not unusual. The Bowery is still known all over the world as now a place of ruined and homeless alcoholics. Perhaps the uptown electrician had done business in the Bowery and had seen the derelict sitting around, passing a bottle or lying unconscious in the gutter, or staggering up to the by and drunkenly bumping into them to ask for money. More the Bowery's 7 or 8,000 homeless men slept in lodging houses that requires them to vacate their rooms during the day. Had nowhere else to go and nothing else to do, they would loiter on the street, standing silently on the sidewalk, leaning against a wall, or shuffling slowly along, alone or in groups. In cold weather, they would wear 2 coats and several suits of clothes at once, would sometimes warm themselves around a fire they would keep going in a city garbage can. At night, those without lodging slept on the sidewalks, doorsteps, or street corners, crawled into discarded boxes, or sprawled side by side next to the bars. Theft were commonplace. A man's pocket might be searched 10 or 20 times while he slept. The rate of hospitalization and death in the Bowery were 5 times higher than the national average. Many of the homeless men bore marks of recent injuries or violences.
Prabhupada's loft 94 Bowery was 6 blocks south of Houston Street. At Austin and Bowery, derelicts converged in the heavy cross-town traffic. When cars stopped for the light, bums would come up and wash the windshields and ask for money. South of Houston, the first block held mostly restaurant supply stores, lamp stores, taverns, and luncheonettes. The buildings were of 3 and 4 stories, old, narrow. Can you move? Lalita, can you move down? Oh yeah, up.
Oh, she is not responding. Haribol?
Haribol.
Did it get frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. Still can't see it yet. Surumi, do you want to take over? Yeah, I think my internet's been bad today. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't.
What chapter is it?
It's called the Bowery. Let me see. It's chapter 17, and it's towards the beginning.
Okay, I could see that.
Okay.
Yeah, she can read it from, but yeah.
Okay, shall I read? Okay.
Yes,
Prabhu-
please.
Chachal.
Yeah, it should be somewhere here.
Old narrow. Okay.
Covered tent.
Okay. The buildings were of 3 and 4 stories, old, narrow, crowded tenements, their faces covered with heavy fire escapes. Traffic on the Bowery ran uptown and downtown. Cars parked on both sides of the street, and the constant traffic passed tightly. During the business day, working people passed briskly among the slow-moving derelicts. Many of the store windows were covered with protective iron gates, but behind the gates, the store owners lit their varieties of lamps to attract prospective wholesale and retail customers. 94 Bowery was just 2 doors north of Hester Street. The corner was occupied by the spacious Half Moon Tavern, which was frequented mostly by neighborhood alcoholics. Above the tavern, marked by a neon sign, Palma House, which was covered by a protective metal cage and hung from the second floor on large chains. The hotel's entrance at 92 Bowery, which had no lobby but only a desolate hallway covered with dirty white tiles, was no more than 6 feet from the entrance to 94. 94 Bowery was a narrow 4-story building. It had long ago been painted grey and bore the usual facing of a massive black fire escape, a well-worn black double door, its glass panels reinforced with chicken wire, open onto the street. The sign above the door read Air, third and fourth, indicating that artists in residence occupied those floors. The first floor of the next building, North 96 Bowery, was used for storage, and its front entrance was covered with a rusty iron gate. At 98 Bowery was another tavern, Harold's, smaller and dingier than the Half Moon. Thus, the block consisted of 2 salons, a flop house, and 2 buildings with lofts. Somebody else would like to read?
Okay, I think Sirumi is gonna share her screen. Yeah, she is.
Haribol, someone like to read?
I'd love to read, but I can't see the. I can't see the page that I have to read.
Oh, it's gone. I think Sirumi was doing it.
Okay, I'll do it again now, I think. Sorry. I was just okay.
Would Rina, would you like to read first if you're going to work right after?
One paragraph. Where did Supriya Gopmataji finished?
Should
That
I?
in the 1960s.
Here, in the line. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can't see in the 19th. Oh yeah, now I can see it. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
So I should be reading in the night. So we can just go down a little bit, please. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. In the 1960s, rope leading was just beginning in that area of New York City. The city has given permission for painters, musicians, sculptors, and artists who required more space than available in most apartments to live in buildings that had been constructed as factories in the 19th century. After these abandoned factories had been fitted with fireproof door, bathtub, shower stall, and heating, and artists could expensively use a large space. This was the air loop. Harvick Cohen Loop on the top floor of 94 Bowery was an open space almost 100 feet long, from east to west, and 25 feet wide. It received a good amount of sunlight on the east, the Bowery side, and it also had windows at the west end, as well as the skylight. The exposed rafter of the ceiling were 12 feet above the floor. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Someone else would like to read? Sadbush Babu, would you like to read?
Yes, yes. Harry Cohen had used the loft as an art studio, and racks for paintings still lined the walls. A kitchen and shower were partitioned off in the northwest corner, and a room divider stood about 15 feet from the Bowery side windows. This divider did not run from wall to wall, but was open at both ends, and it was several feet short of the ceiling. It was behind this partition that Prabhupada had his personal living area. A bed and a few chairs stood near the window, and Prabhupada's typewriter sat on his metal trunk next to the small table that held his stacks of Bhagavatam manuscripts. His dhoti hung drying on the clothesline. On the other side of the partition was a dais about 10 feet wide and 5 feet deep, on which Prabhupada sat during his kirtan and lectures. The dais faced west toward the loft's large open space, that is, except for a couple of rugs and an old-fashioned solid wood table, and on an easel Harvey's painting of Lord Chaitanya dancing with his associate was a 4-foot walk, and the only entrance, usually heavily bolted, was a door in the rear at the west end. From the outside, this door opened to a hallway, lit only by the red exit light over the door. The hallway led to the right a few steps and into the open area. If a guest entered during a kirtan or a lecture, he would see the Swami about 30 feet from the entrance, seated on his dais. On other evenings, the wall loft would be dark, but for the glow of the red light in the little hallway and soft illumination radiant from the other side of the partition where Prabhupada was working. Prabhupada lived on the Bowery sitting under a small light, while hundreds of derelicts also sat under hundreds of naked lights on the same city block. He had no more fixed income than the derelicts, nor any greater security of a fixed residence. Yet his consciousness was different. He was translating Srimad Bhagavatam into English, speaking to the world through his Bhaktivedanta purports. His duty, whether on the 14th floor of the Riverside Drive apartment building or in a corner of a Bowery loft, was to establish Krishna consciousness as the supreme necessity for all humanity. He went on with his translating and with his constant vision of a Krishna temple in New York City. Because his consciousness was absorbed in Krishna's universe, he did not depend on his surroundings for shelter. Home for him was not a matter of bricks and wood, but of taking shelter of Krishna in every circumstance. As Prabhupada had said to uptown, everywhere is my home. Whereas without Krishna's shelter, the whole world would be a desolate place. Often he would refer to a scriptural statement that people live in three different moods, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Life is the forest. Life in the forest is in the mood of goodness. Life in the city is in passion, and life degraded place like a liquor shop or bordel or the Bowery is in the mood of ignorance. But to live in the temple of Vishnu is to live in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, which is transcendental to all three material moods. And this Bowery loft where Prabhupada was holding his meeting and performing kirtana was also transcendental. When he was behind the partition, working in his corner before the open pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, that room was as good as his room back at the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. News of the Swami's move to the Bowery loft spread, mostly by word of mouth at the Paradox restaurant, and people begin to come by in the evening to chant with him. The musical kirtanas were especially popular on the Bowery, since the Swami's new congregation consists mostly of local musicians and artists who responded more to the transcendental music than to philosophy. Every morning he would hold a class on Srimad Bhagavatam attended by David Allen, Robert Nelson, and another boy. And occasionally he would teach cooking to whoever was interested. He was usually available for personal talk with any inquiring visitors or with his new roommate or with his new roommate. Although Prabhupada and David each had a designed living area in the large loft, the place soon became dominated by Prabhupada's preaching activities. Prabhupada and David got on well together, and at first Prabhupada considered David an aspiring disciple. Maybe somebody else like to read.
Would you like to read, Pushpa?
Yeah. April 27. He wrote to his friends in India, describing his relationship with David Allen. Just give me a minute.
Krishna Chaitanya wants to read it.
Music.
Sorry.
Sing.
He was attending my class at 72nd Street along with others, and when I experienced this theft case in my room, he invited me to his residence. So I am with him and training him. He has good prospect because already he has given up all bad habits. In this country, illicit connection with women, smoking, drinking, and eating of meat are common affairs. Besides that, there are other bad habits, like using only toilet paper and not bathing after evacuating, etc. But by my request, he has given up 9% of his old habits, and he is chanting Mahamantra regularly. So I am giving him the chance, and I think he is improving. Tomorrow I have arranged for some prasadam distribution, and he has gone to purchase some things from the market. When David first came to the Bowery, he appeared like a clean-cut college student. He was 21, 6 feet tall, blue-eyed, handsome, and intelligent-looking. Most of his new friends in New York were older and considered him a kid. David's family lived in East Lansing, Michigan, and his mother was paying $100 monthly to sublease a loft. Although he did not have much experience, he had read that a new realm of mind expansion was available through psychedelic drugs, and he was heading fast into the hazardous world of LSD. His meeting with the Swami came at a time of radical change and profoundly affected his life. David, it was a really good relationship I had with the Swami, but I was overwhelmed by the tremendous honor of being that close to him. It spurred my consciousness very fast. Even my dreams at night would be so vivid of Krishna consciousness. I was often sleeping when the Swami was up, because he was up late in night working on his translations. That's possibly where a lot of the consciousness and dreams just flowed in. Because of that deep relationship, it also had to do with studying Sanskrit. There was a lot of immediate impact with the language. The language seemed to have such a strong mystical quality. The way he translated it to word. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone else? I think we have Pravina and Gurmukh.
You are there. Sirumi is there. You can also.
Okay.
Couldn't hear you very well. Okay.
Prabhupada's old
Now
friend,
can hear.
right?
Your sound is not really great, Prabhu. I don't know if it's just me. But
Okay.
anyways, please go ahead again.
Up down. Is this voice clear now?
Yeah, that's better.
Prabhupada's old friend from uptown, Robert Nelson, continued to visit him on the Bowery. He was impressed by Prabhupada's friendly relationship with David, who he saw was learning many things from the Swami. Mr. Robert bought a small American-made hand organ similar to an Indian harmonium and donated it to David for chanting with Prabhupadas. At 7 in the morning, Mr. Robert would come by, and after Bhagavatam class, he would talk informally with Prabhupada, telling his ideas for making records and selling books. He wanted to continue helping the Swami. They would sit in the chair near the front window, and Mr. Robert would listen while Prabhupada talked for hours about Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. New people began coming to see Prabhupada on the Bowery. Called Jurgens, a 30-year-old black man from the Bronx, had attended Cornell University and was now independently studying Indian religion and Zen Buddhism. He had experienced with drugs as psychedelic tools, and he had an interest in music and poetry of India. He was influential among his friends and tried to interest them in meditation. He had even been dabbling in Sanskrit. Call. I had just finished reading a book called The Wonder That Was India. I had gotten the definition of a sannyasi and a brahmachari and so forth. There was a vivid description in that particular book of how you could see a sannyasi coming down the road with his saffron robe. It must have more than just a superficial impression on me, because it came to me this one chilly evening. I was going to visit Michael Grant, probably going to smoke some marijuana and sit around, maybe play some music, and I was coming down Hester Street. If you make a left on Bowery, you can go up to Mike's place on Grand Street. But it's funny that I chose to go that way, because the shorter way would have been to go down Grand Street. But if I had gone that way, I would probably have missed Swamiji. So I decided to go down Hester and then make a left. All of a sudden, I saw in this dingy clove brilliant saffron robe. As I passed, I saw it was Swamiji knocking on the door, trying to gain entrance. There were two bombs hunched up against the door. It was like a two-part door. One of them was sealed and the other was locked. The two bombs were lying on the either side of Swamiji. One of these men had actually expired, which often happened, and you had to call the police or health department to get them. I don't think I saw the man lying in the doorway until I walked up to Swamiji and asked him, "Are you a sannyasi?" And he answered, "Yes." We started this conversation about how he was starting a temple, and he mentioned Lord Chaitanya and the whole thing. He just came out with this flow of strange things to me right there in the street. But I knew what he was talking about somehow. I had the familiarity of having just read this book and delved into Indian religion. So I knew that this was a momentous occasion for me, and I wanted to help him. We banged on the door, and eventually we got into the loft. He invited me to come to a kirtana, and I came back later that night for my first kirtana. From that point on, it was a fairly regular thing, 3 times a week. At one point, Swamiji asked me to stay with him, and I stayed for about 2 weeks. It was perhaps because of the Karl's interest in Sanskrit that Prabhupada began holding Sanskrit classes. Karl and David and a few others would spend hours learning Sanskrit under Prabhupada's guidance, using a chalkboard he found in the loft. Prabhupada taught the alphabet and his students wrote their exercises in notebooks. Prabhupada would look over their shoulders to see if they were writing correctly and would review their pronunciation. His students were learning not simply Sanskrit, but the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Each day he would give them a verse to copy in the Sanskrit alphabet, Devanagari, transliterate into Roman alphabet, and then translate word for word into English. But their interest in Sanskrit waned, and Prabhupada gradually gave up the daily classes to spend time working on his own translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. His new friends may have regarded these lessons as Sanskrit classes, but actually they were bhakti classes. He had come to America as the ambassador of Sanskrit. His Guru Maharaj had ordered him to teach Krishna consciousness, but since he had found in Karl and some of his friends a desire to investigate Sanskrit, he encouraged it. As a youth, Lord Chaitanya had also started a Sanskrit school with the real purpose of teaching love of Krishna. He would teach in such a way that every word meant Krishna, and when his students objected, he closed the school. Similarly, when Prabhupada found that his students' interest in Sanskrit was transitory, and since he himself had no mission on behalf of Sanskrit linguistics, he gave it up. Should I go ahead, or somebody else want to read it?
I think Pravina will read, no?
Yeah, we have 2 minutes. Pravina.
By the standard of classical Vedic scholars, it takes 10 years for a boy to master Sanskrit grammar. And if one does not start until his late 20s or 30s, it is usually too late. Certainly, none of Swamiji's students were thinking of entering a 10-year course in Sanskrit grammar. Even if they were, they would not realize spiritual truth simply by becoming grammarians. Prabhupada thought it better to utilize his own Sanskrit scholarship in translating the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam into English, following the Sanskrit commentaries of the previous authorities. Otherwise, the secret of Krishna consciousness would remain locked away in the Sanskrit. Teaching Karl Yarikchan's Devanagari, Sandhi, verb conjugations, and noun distillation was not going to give the people of America transcendental Vedic knowledge. Better that he utilize his proficiency in Sanskrit for translating many volumes of the Bhagavatam into English for millions of potential readers. Haribol.
Guys, please stop it.
Yeah.
Demotic to go free. Then just quite a bit.
I think
Yeah.
both can read one paragraph, like.
Yeah, go ahead, Sarami.
Oh, I lost where I was now. You got. Okay, yeah, it's Carol Baker, is it?
Yeah, but your voice is a bit muffled. Either you're too close or you're too far from the microphone.
Okay, I'm probably,
like...
I was too far. Now, is it better?
Oh, yeah, this is better. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so Carol Becker came from an immigrant Catholic background, and she immediately associated with Catholicism the Swami's presence as a spiritual authority and his devotional practices of chanting on beads and reciting from Sanskrit scriptures. Sometimes she would accompany Prabhupada to nearby Chinatown, where he would purchase ingredients for his cooking. He would cook daily, and sometimes Carol and others would come by to learn the secrets of cooking for Krishna. So your turn.
Carol, he used to cook with us in the kitchen, and he was always aware of everyone else's activity in addition to his own cooking. He knew exactly how things should be. He watched everything and made sure everyone did everything correct. He was a teacher. We used to make chapatis by hand, but then one day he asked me to get him a rolling pin. I brought my rolling pin and he appropriated it. He put some men on rolling chapatis and supervised them very carefully. Okay, I think I'll end there
We
because
could
there's a
probably
hiccup.
read one more, no? Oh.
Yeah. Although I didn't think he ever ate them. Perhaps he was worried we might put in something that wasn't allowed in his diet. He used to take things from me and put them in the cupboard. I don't know what he finally did with them, but I'm sure he didn't throw them away. I never saw him eat anything that I had prepared, although he accepted everything.